Hey, we'll be starting in just a minute. Turn that off. Why don't you talk about AR so we can make sure our levels are about where we want them to be?
Okay. How's everybody doing? I'm the only person in Wisconsin who isn't watching the Brewers game right now.
Let's see. To me, they look about even, but we'll wait and see what everyone else thinks. See, no one can tell, but right now I'm actually turning on and off the May blocker, but she's not even listed in the cards this time. Let's see here. Okay, no complaints about the audio levels, so I guess we can just go. You ready to go?
Sure.
Okay. Let's go ahead and grab 30 seconds first now that I think about it, starting now. Okay, that should be good. Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to a podcast. We're here to entertain and inform a little bit while talking about Digimon. I'm Mark. I run with the will.
And I'm AR Paul for Digimon System Restore.
And it's been like, what, a month?
Something like that. 3, 4 weeks, I
Yeah.
think.
It's kind of nice to have where we have the news to talk about, but we don't have to go. We really need to do this 2 weeks to make stuff fit.
Yeah, there's nothing super
Yeah. There's nothing
time
super.
intensive right now.
Yeah, and it's all kind of fun stuff, sort of, this time,
Yeah.
which is kind
Four
of nice.
weeks. 4 weeks.
Yeah, right before recording, I don't know if you saw it. Did you see the really weird thing about the new Gridman anime?
No.
All the characters are um, more American-centric Transformers that have been turned into people.
Oh,
Like, I don't believe it's plot-wise, but if you look at the outfits and everything, they're all from the Shattered. Um, I can't remember the term now. Shattered Glass, the Mirror Universe
mm,
Transformers.
mm-hmm. Hmm.
But like down to little touches on the outfits and everything. So at first I thought someone was pulling a prank, and then I was looking at the official art. I'm like, no, this stuff's all there. It was really weird.
I was gonna say one timing thing Digimon wise is we did do the podcast like 5 days before the part 6 in theaters.
Yeah. Well, we still can talk about it now.
If I
And,
can remember, if I can remember it.
yeah, and I believe, which we'll get to later, the most interesting thing I believe you missed because you were writing a note at the time. You had mentioned.
Mm. Oh yes, yes.
Yeah, there's something that everyone was talking about, and you're like, I didn't notice that at all. I was probably writing.
We'll get into that,
Yeah,
but I have a. I'll explain why.
yeah. Uh,
My logic is sound, I believe.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get started with the news. So first up, we have two more chapters of Digimon Chronicle X. Um, I'm trying to decide how much I like it, to be honest.
Well, it's hard to say without
Yeah,
seeing the
it, it's
artwork and
it,
such.
it made a lot more sense once we knew exactly what was going on with the virtual pets,
Yeah,
because then
yeah.
it because
Like
then it
it's
because then it really just turned into, oh, this isn't really a story. This is
yeah,
just
the
explain.
tie-in becomes really apparent. At the same time, it's the most Royal Knighty thing ever.
Yeah. Um,
Like, how are we gonna solve this tournament arc?
yeah. We have that translated on the site, and it's literally just set up to explain why they're doing the pseudo adventure mode. And
Like, hey, why don't we go from area to area, killing off
yeah,
the bosses in each
yeah,
place?
and each area will have one guy standing there to act as the boss for some reason.
Yeah,
It was just funny, and of course the Jesmon X artwork. I mean, we've seen it before. I still think it's just funny they somehow made him spikier.
well, yeah. I wonder if they continue. Are they continuing this Chronicle X,
There
or is that just the setup to?
on the this page there is something blanked out for at least one more slot.
Okay,
Like the
okay.
now the thing is
Because as it stands now, that was a glorified
yeah,
attract screen.
yeah, there is very clearly something else meant to go there.
Okay.
I would assume it will show up right around when pre-orders close. And
Chapter 5, and then they
yeah,
won.
yeah. And speaking of pre-orders, this was it's fun, I guess. It's never really stopped any of us, has it? That Premium Bandai USA finally put up a Digimon product, and it's the Digital Monster X.
Yeah.
The problem here is the shipping cost is so high, it only ends up saving like $10 from dealing with an intermediary.
Mm.
I mean, $33 shipping's really high. Let's see. I mean, I don't expect it. Some people are expecting like complete differences in packaging. I'm not. I think it's gonna be exactly the same.
Yeah, I
I
would
mean,
think so.
and even a few people have chimed in who because this is coming out of the Singapore office, which is also, I believe, where Premium Bandai Hong Kong ships from. People who
Hmm.
have bought from Premium Bandai Hong Kong have said they've always gone the exact same thing. They're not expecting
Okay.
any difference.
Yeah.
Um,
At the same time, it's another way to get it.
oh no, and it's a little bit easier, and that alone makes because I know some people just don't want to deal with intermediaries. They're
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but still interesting and a little bit cheaper. I'm hoping we get some of the more eclectic stuff, but I would like it to not affect figures because figures we've actually been really easy to deal with in general
Yeah.
because they just throw them up on Amazon, Crunchyroll, and all for cheap prices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the Digital Monster X news kind of continues. There was almost no news in the most recent V Jump, minus a few more Digimon showing up in it. Metal Greymon and Leomon showing up in the black. Neither one of them showing up is a huge surprise. I kind of like seeing Gromon though. I don't know why I always forget that he exists as an X antibody.
Mm.
And the fan votes are Minervamon will be in the black, Roto Nightmon will be in the white. I'm still curious to see who else we might see from that fan vote.
Mm. Yeah.
Like it felt like they were about to tell us that Imperial Dramon was gonna be there, don't you think?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like they kept stopping to go, and Imperial Dramon's number 3. And then they just moved on from it. It was really strange when they did that.
Got to find a way to tweak the O2
Yeah,
fans.
yeah. That's kind of been a Toei and Bandai theme as of late, hasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. And moving on, they keep throwing the Digital Monster X news. Um, they gave out some Digimon information, in a Mon Mon memo. The only real relevant ones were Beelzebubon and Lilymon will be in the
Mm-hmm.
X. And then, they announced some cast and crew comments for the CSA 99. No one that's really a surprise, though, but it's, nice to get stuff confirmed for the booklet. Um,
Mm-hmm.
do you think Chika Sakamoto is going to be the only cast member who shows up for the comments?
Oh.
Because she kind of stands out in that everyone else, it's like, Kakudo's
Yeah.
the
She's like
director.
the go-to,
Yeah.
especially the go-to cast member, especially when it comes to the Digimon side of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see who else might show up. And then what they really tease, though, and they've been teasing this for a while, is going over the original planning documents and stuff for the Digivice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that could be
Yeah.
interesting.
And really fun is how they show the page and they just blur the shit out of the whole thing. They love doing that in the previews for this stuff. And Mon Mon Memo kept rolling with new news. The map system works kind of basic, but I kind of like how it's done where you kind of just move on to the next Digimon.
Sure.
But we get the little designs with the numbers and
Yeah, those are fun.
the battle system seemed. I don't know why it seems better than I expected it to be honest.
It's yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, you have certain expectations, so just to have little extra stuff like
yeah,
the
yeah. So
timed hits and
yeah, so you
the
get the Zai system, which, as far as I can tell, and I never had a Pendulum X, so someone can probably confirm. I think it's just rolling a dice, basically.
oh, I thought it was more of a timing thing.
I think the Zai system itself, that's where it has the X and everything. I think
Mm,
that is just like a dice roll.
okay.
The battle gauge is a timing thing, and they put up a little GIF of it, which was really neat to show how, and that depends on how your attack power ends up, along
Mm-hmm.
with the cut-ins, and they
Mm-hmm.
show
The
a few,
cut-ins.
the cut it like. I don't know why the Sistermon Seal one just amuses the hell out of me. The look of it, it's like
Yeah, it's like
It's like
spiky monster, spiky monster, moe girl.
yeah, but the design is perfect for that resolution.
Well, yeah.
How many more non-X Digimon do you think we're gonna end up getting? Because they've confirmed two, right? It's Seal and Damemon. They've said
Mm. Yeah, I don't know.
we'll end up with more.
I could see a few
Yeah,
more. Those are
yeah.
a couple. For those to be the only two would be
Now I
stretches.
think the only question is if Sistermon Seal is in white, does that mean Damemon's gonna be in black?
Well, it depends on if there are any other
Yeah,
additions to
true.
it.
Um, yeah. I still think the funniest one though, at least for me, is Omegamon X Antibody for one reason. When I'm scrolling through the text in Japanese to put up the article, I'm like, okay, I think that's Metal Greymon. I'm not sure who that is. Okay, that's Sistermon. And oh, look, it's Omegamon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just matched him up perfectly in a hilarious way. Now, I will say this, now that they're up for pre-order in the US, I'm like vaguely tempted to order them, and I don't know why. It's just not,
That's the advantage of having them available for order in the U.S.
yeah, it's just not my thing, but I'm still sitting there going, maybe I should order it and take a look. Yeah. But we finally get to move away from the X antibody stuff for now, at least. Um, Digimon Encounters in China will be available on iOS in November.
I keep forgetting this exists,
Well, we keep
and every
forgetting.
time I see it, I get jealous. But I keep forgetting it exists.
Yeah. Do we have anything else to say about this rather than woo for iOS people in China?
I am neither in China nor an iOS person, so no.
I'm still amused at because some of our people who follow the news from us in China have continued to message saying the game is not good.
Oh,
That it's horribly derivative, and they're like, some of the artwork's nice, but the game's just not very fun to play.
hmm.
Of course, the problem is that could just be the people who don't like it messaging. It could be an amazing game for all we know. We will probably never really know.
If you're in China, drop us a line.
Yeah, and we still, and I mean that's how like weird and eclectic Bulkomon was originally. He was in the pendulums, and people didn't notice because people were doing the where you can do the you can press the buttons in such a way to make stuff come up.
Oh yeah.
Uh, but because no one was looking at the Japanese spellings, they just thought it was someone else.
Mm.
It was only after they announced it for the game that people looked again and was like, oh, he's in the VPET, and I still don't think we know how to unlock him yet either. They'll probably give us that code at some point. That makes me kind of wonder if it will sort of expand outside of China, because kind of what's the point of putting him there if it's a Digimon that doesn't mean anything to anyone who'd have it.
Yeah, like it's weird to have localized exclusive Digimon. Like you can only get this Digimon in this
Yeah,
not very good, apparently,
yeah.
mobile game.
Well, I will say this: at some point, they will announce another card set, and I am sure he will be included.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Nothing else to say about encounters other than yeah, if you're in China and you've played it, tell us your thoughts on it because we don't know. And moving on to another game where we sort of kind of don't know. Hey, some Re-Arise updates based around everyone's favorite character, Lotmon.
Lots a lot, man.
Yeah. Can I just say I love that render they chose where it's just like Lotmon standing there looking sort of nonplussed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Like
they're
I'm a jump on your
yeah.
shoulder.
Cuz Lotmon's in the intro to the game but hasn't been in the game as far as I know.
Okay.
And now they're doing the story where some people thought it would be Chihiro's partner. Apparently it just is a Lotmon that shows up in the rain.
Those turn into partnerships
Yeah, I
pretty
wouldn't be shocked.
frequently.
They announced Lotmon's actress, who's Nanami Yamashita.
Now that I think about it, this sort of happened between in a hacker's memory, but with Inspector Date
Yeah.
and Lotmon. They sort of ended up in a partnership by
So
accident.
so what you're saying is they're just copying Lotmon again.
Lotmon just
Lot,
finds its way
yeah,
into random partnerships
yeah,
wherever it goes.
yeah. And they're giving away the Shikishis from Twitter. Although yeah, that's done at this point.
You could argue Lotmon and Tamers
Yeah,
applies
did
too.
that. And Lotmon in 02 didn't have a fine time of it either.
Lotmon and Cross Wars didn't have
Lot,
a good.
yeah,
Lotmon and Cross Wars. Well, it became partners with a lot of
yeah.
itself,
And
and then
Lotmon
died tragically.
Lotmon didn't even get to show up in 02. Lotmon is like advertised as part of 02 and never appeared.
Oh, what you mean the movie poster?
No, not just in the movie poster. Like they
Yeah,
include
it's
Lotmon
yeah.
as an 02 Digimon, but it never appeared. It's just sort of included because we all know that's what it was at.
I was told there'd be no hurricane touchdown discussion in this podcast.
Hey, I can't always just bring up how much I hate it. I occasionally have to talk about it fairly. Hey, it comes up occasionally, and I mean, not much else to talk about. It feels like at some point we're gonna get this, though, right?
Oh yeah, I gotta think so. Once Link starts to play itself out.
So what you're saying is any time from a week after Links came out to
What I was
ever.
saying was I gave you the perfect segue and you blew right past it.
No, because Links is not. We both stopped playing it after a week. I had to avoid the segue and talk about it instead. But I will go ahead and move on to Links is 1 year
I
old.
know some people who are still playing Links.
Oh no, I know some people are, but I believe you and me both stopped literally like a week into it.
Yes, totally.
Yeah, I will say though the 1 year anniversary stuff is all very nice. Um,
Yes.
there's the they're calling it the Friends campaign, basically where points add up and at the end everyone gets a bunch of stuff. The social media campaign, which as far as I know, someone pointed out just from the English page, we blew past what it was needed weeks ago.
Funny how that works.
Yeah. Um, the Digistones have to do with logging in. The
Mm-hmm.
vouchers people have been earning, I've logged in and nabbed a few. And the oddest one though is the half price Seven Great Demon Lords. Like it doesn't feel like that's the natural choice of Digimon to pick for like the 1 year anniversary special.
Happy birthday, have a demon lord.
Yes, especially since like they're really going hardcore on like Adventure 02 and Tamers for general marketing for Links.
A couple of the demon lords show up in those. You get
Yeah,
Daemon and Beelzebumon.
yeah, but even then, like the market, it's Seven Great Demon Lords, but even then, the marketing for it is just Beelzebumon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are 50% off. And, you know, you can use the free points on them also. But yeah, Lynx has been. It's actually done rather well. I'm not a fan of it. I know you aren't either. But there's nothing bad
It's
that showed
just
up in
not
Lynx.
yeah, it's just not my style
Yeah,
of game.
yeah. I would rather get Rearized because I would just blow through the story content and then ignore it.
Right. Well, if they keep if they keep staggering out the
Yeah,
timing of each story, it's hard to blow through it, but
yeah. Well, I mean
that's
blow.
a that's a good
Yeah,
strategy.
but I mean blow through what's available, and then a month later I will play for 1 hour to do the new story and then move on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, the game stuff's all been relatively positive, and then we have more details for Survive from the extended interview. Is it weird, or did it feel like this is kind of added to negativity about it?
Did it?
I mean,
I didn't see anything in here that made me go, not so sure about this.
well, in the sense of like everything here was, I mean, it was obviously all expanded on stuff from before,
Yeah, there's
but
nothing
but but then
earth-shattering
but
here,
then we
but
get stuff like they're talking about basically how basic the game is in a way that doesn't feel good.
I don't I don't consider that necessarily a bad thing. I think you might be disappointed if you're looking for something,
I'm
a complex gaming experience.
I'm
But as far as a Digimon game, especially one that's trying to attract fans of adventure,
no
as
I
it's
I agree.
demographic, I don't think having a super complex system is going to be
No,
a
I do
a great
agree.
move.
I do agree on that, but it feels like they've talked a little bit too much about how simple everything is. Like when you're talking about it being a SRPG and you're talking about how simple and traditional it is, it almost makes it sound like they're just not doing much with it. And that kind of, I don't know.
I mean, it is a new genre for the fandom,
Yeah.
so it doesn't alarm. I mean, they might be trying to
Yeah.
ease people into it, like you don't want to throw somebody into this thinking this is going to be some sort of a experience that they're not going to be familiar with or not going to be comfortable with. So
Normally,
you want to get the elements in there
normally I
without
would.
too many tricks.
Normally, I'd agree with that. Minus that they start talking about how they want this to be the third, you know, pillar of the games and everything. They want this to be a series going forward. And if and I know to a degree that's just kind of producer speak.
Yeah,
It just feels
but
weird that,
even then, if they plan on doing that, then perhaps future games could
yeah,
add more complexities to it.
yeah, hopefully. It is weird though that the more we go on, the more they're like explicitly trying to connect this to adventure.
Yeah, and we've talked about the parallels between
Yeah.
this feeling like an adventure style of story, so they've noticed that too.
Well, more than that, they've specifically said that they've talked to Kakudo for his input.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that, like, I mean, it makes sense to do. It just feels weird that they're doing it so explicitly because, like, you could argue CyberSleuth sort of has vague connections theme wise to something like Savers or Tamers, but
Mm-hmm.
they never really discussed it.
Right.
Here, they're literally saying, yeah, the person most people associate with adventure we've gone to. And it's interesting to see. Um, I would like them to stop pretending like they're not doing four pathways,
Oh yeah.
where they keep going, yeah, we're doing three, but we're considering a fourth. Wink.
Yeah.
Maybe. Wink. Just tell us there's three plus an extra one.
Yeah.
Stop.
That reminds me of those Tokobans where it's like we might show the first 5 minutes of the next Try movie.
Yeah, and it literally happened consistently every
Oh
time.
yeah, every single like you
Yeah.
knew they would.
Yeah. But yeah, I just tell us it's three plus one. Don't tell us it's three and one more if we can. They've told us the game's only like 30% complete. If you're telling us that now, you've already written it up and know
Yeah.
it's gonna be.
Yeah. But going back to the adventure thing, I think that just getting adventure fans into something that isn't adventure has occasionally been a chore for Digimon. So I think that just trying to go, no, really, if you liked adventure, you will enjoy this game isn't the worst
Uh,
marketing strategy to take.
I don't disagree, but I wonder if there's a bit of a loophole in it this time. Like, if someone only wants adventure type stuff, and let's say they don't even want to give, say, Tamers a chance because it's not adventure,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
pointing to Survive and going, hey, look, it's just adventure but aged up, doesn't really push them more into looking at other stuff. It's just, hey, look, it's a slightly different version of adventure. Like, even when you're looking at the characters and the partners, everything feels a little bit adventure-y.
Yeah, but that wasn't something you necessarily got with Tamers.
Yeah.
Like when Tamers came out, everyone was so hype
Well, no,
on
no, no, no. What I
getting off of the
yeah,
hype of
but what I
adventure,
mean, but
and
what
they were
I'm
still kind of wanted adventure, so Tamers wasn't necessarily what they were looking for
yeah,
at the time.
but what I mean is like let's look at say CyberSleuth. A lot of people who weren't necessarily interested in the brand for years were very interested by CyberSleuth. We saw lots of articles about it when it was coming out, and they never went past that one game even to hackers' memory. They tried CyberSleuth, and that was it. So I guess my concern is what's the point of doing something of interest specifically to adventure fans when that's kind of already taken care of? You know what I mean?
I think going even closer into adventure, into that adventure style of story, is potentially more fruitful
But I guess the question is, but
if
what
you can
I'm
do that, because CyberSleuth wasn't really anything close to an adventure style
no,
story. Like
but
people gave it a chance because it was more, this is a Digimon game that's not for kids,
but I guess
or this
but
is a Digimon game with some interesting story elements or interesting characters and stuff like that, and it might be worth checking out.
I guess
I
my
think
question though
really
is
tying into that, really tying into that, you liked adventure. You might like Survive for the same reasons you liked Adventure, which I
maybe
don't think you can really say about CyberSleuth.
no. I completely agree on that. I just more mean my concern is like you and me both like adventure a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We're taking care like there's no end of adventure stuff for us.
Yeah,
So what I'm saying is if someone likes adventure, they don't necessarily need the game to look more at the brand. Is what I mean. Like if someone only wants adventure stuff, does the game really add anything other than it's adventure and they're vaguely suggesting vague violence?
it's it's a game
Yeah.
is what I would say to that, because
But the thing,
they might look at Try, they might look at the news stories, they might not go past that. They may have given CyberSleuth a try, they might not
yeah.
have, but something that's even more adventure than CyberSleuth in a game format.
Why not just do that though? Because the PSP game was done when the PSP was basically done. It was basically one more use of an engine. If they want to do adventure game, wouldn't it almost make more sense to have just remastered that game for modern systems?
I don't think that would have been a bad idea.
I mean,
I
and
think the work to remaster it might have been a bit of a challenge, simply because getting that experience going, like, you'd almost have to try to get all the voice actors back together, which would be pretty
but
difficult.
what I mean is they did that already.
Not for, I mean, for what? For Try? Because they didn't get
No, no,
all the
no, no,
voice
no, no.
actors
For
back.
the adventure game, I'm saying
No,
that.
I mean a dub.
See, I don't think that'd be that hard to actually do, to be honest, because one, a good chunk of the cast came back for try anyways. You could throw them in the booth, have them read off the lines, and if necessary, get replacements for whoever.
Yeah.
Or you could always just do it sub only and just do it as a
Yeah,
digital
I
release.
don't think sub only would work as a
I'm not saying that'd be
would work
smart.
over
I'm not
here.
saying that'd be smart. I'm saying it could be done though. But I don't think it would be that hard to grab people and throw them in the booth to do it because most of them came back anyways. You know what I mean?
Mm, I think for a video game that would be a bit more intensive than what
Oh,
they did for Try.
it would be, but it's still getting them back, and I think most of them you probably could. I mean, we kind of deviated from Survive, but I think it is a real question of what is Survive supposed to be, and I'm still not sure we know, to be honest. I guess
I
that's.
mean, I'm still excited for it, and I
Oh
didn't see
no,
anything there that made
I,
me less
I,
excited.
I'm excited for it too. I just kind of wish we knew more solidly what was going on because it feels like the more they talk about it, the more it sounds like they're almost downplaying it. That's my only concern.
Hmm.
Yeah. Do we have anything else to say about Survive for now?
Not. I think that covered a lot of ground,
Yeah.
actually. I think
Let.
that was a good
Yeah.
discussion.
On to figures. Um, the Digivolving Spirits Lurk Abu Terry came out. I did scans and a few photos. May has sadly admitted it's the best Digivolving Spirit so far, better than her beloved Diablomon. And it
Mm-hmm.
really does just look amazing from every angle. Everything's perfect. Even the little quotes they've put on the flaps before,
Mm-hmm.
it literally has him saying Koshirohan on the flap,
Oh,
and it's perfect. And these have all been like at this point, I feel like the worst has probably been Angelomon, but that's mostly just because the bar's been set
yeah.
obscenely high on these.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we talked about this one last time, but we've gotten a lot of Black WarGreymon details since then, haven't we?
Yeah.
Um,
They're trying to
yeah,
get this one through
yeah.
here.
Premium Bandai put up pre-orders, and the color comparison, like it is kind of amazing when you look and you realize just how many colors they've changed.
Yeah.
Like the only things that look identical to me when he's at WarGreymon are the claws, the silver claw, the Dramon destroyers. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's it. Like even the grays and silvers are completely different, and it just looks weird and fantastic. And I am really looking forward to it, especially since U.S. pre-orders are already open.
Mm-hmm.
and it's nice and not super expensive. $65 isn't bad for
Yeah,
it.
that's really reasonable. Like
Yeah,
that's what I've seen. I think that might be even a little cheaper than what I've seen than going for it when I saw them at conventions.
yeah. And oddly, like we don't normally get the previews this quickly. They started giving us a preview of the box art, and I like how they point out where it's specifically made in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
So you can face off WarGreymon, Black WarGreymon.
Hmm.
The little black Agumon looks. I don't know why I love the look of this so much.
Yeah, the Black Agumon impressed me more than I expected it to.
Well, the other impressive thing is if you look, it's the almost the same pose as the promo shot they've done for both Agumons,
Hmm.
and I don't know why I'm so amused at that fact. It's just because he keeps adding touches from the toys to the art,
Hmm.
and that one specifically I just really like.
Like I think a lot of people will be posing the War Greymon and the Black War Greymon, as you said, opposite each other.
Yeah,
But I do really want to see a picture of the Agumon and Black Agumon next to each other because I think that would look really cool too.
yeah, and they and oddly in the same article they showed us a revised version of the art where he cleaned it up a bit, and it just really does look amazing.
Hmm.
It's a bit of a wait though. I mean, the U.S. releases in May.
Oh,
So yeah, I mean that's a bit of a wait, but considering the amount you save over using an intermediary, that's not bad.
yeah.
Especially since it's not that much of a wait because it ships in late March in Japan.
Hmm. Another thing about the nice thing about May is it's also the start of convention season. Any any convention out there with Bandai booths probably will have these.
Yeah. Well, because Bluefin also provides a lot of stock to stores specifically for those events, so those will be all over the
Yeah,
place.
for sure.
Um, and continuing figures, Capsule Mascot 6 is releasing in January, which is I like that these keep going on.
I like that the choices of the Digimon they select are so interesting.
Yeah.
Like,
Uh, this one's weird though because there are no child or lower levels in this one.
right.
Yeah. So we
I
have
keep forgetting what I forget keep forgetting Girumon's level.
Centarumon, Unimon, Dromojimon, Giromon, and Andromon.
I should
Giromon,
say I keep forgetting Giromon exists.
yeah, Giromon. I looked at him like, oh wait, maybe there. When I was writing the article initially, I looked at Giromon like, oh, maybe there is a child level here. It goes and looks,
No,
and it's
that
like,
that's got to be
oh
an
no,
adult.
yeah, that's.
Okay.
I think he's perfect actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think I could be misremembering. He shows up so little, it's hard to remember anything
Yeah,
about
I
him.
think I remember him from like one episode.
Yeah, so those will be in January.
I think
Um,
that was that the France episode?
I don't
102 maybe?
I
Or
don't remember to be honest. He's one of those Digimon who shows up so rarely you basically forget he exists even when you're talking about stuff he's in.
yeah. Oh yeah.
These look nice.
But that's what's fun about these. Like these a lot of these capsule mascots have been just if you remember them from the anime, they're typically just one-shot villains.
Yeah.
And just show up for one episode and die.
And speaking of capsule mascots, I mean we've known about this for about 2 months now, but the premium ones. I mean, damn, does the Blitz Greymon look nice? They're it really looks nice. And I will say though, I think the standout's probably Meramon.
Yeah.
I mean, like
That's a lot of extra design for Miramon that they didn't need to do.
yeah, like the texture work, the
Yeah.
the color. I mean,
Just the scar the shading in there.
if it looks half as nice as this, I'll be surprised. Because they always look nicer in the press photos.
Yeah.
I mean, if it looks half as nice as this, I'll be shocked. And unfortunately, May's not here to comment on Airdramon.
Airdramon looks downright simple compared to the other two.
Th that's what I thought at first. I started looking at stuff like the wings, and you can
It's
see,
fine. Like if that was the first one that comes if that's the first one you click on and look at, you're gonna go, that's a nice figure,
yeah,
and then the other two will just blow you
yeah,
away.
yeah. And how do you feel about them throwing in the 5 from the normal ones, so you get a full evolution line? I don't know why, but I love that. See, I keep looking at the Blitz Greymon figure, and I keep thinking, damn, this really looks nice. Like, I remember when they first announced they were doing the bigger metal Greymon, and we're all like, wow, that really looks impressive compared to the rest of them. And Blitz
Mhm.
Greymon just blows everything away.
Yeah.
Um, the price isn't bad. I mean, it's about $45. That's not bad for 8 figures, 5 of which we can price out to about $15.
Mm-hmm.
And the teaser for Wave 2, I mean, the problem with them using the Bandai artwork is there's no doubt who these three are at all.
Yeah.
I mean, the hardest one to recognize is Kresgarurumon, and that's
Yeah, Kresgarurumon I didn't catch, but Kresgarumon's another one that I don't always. It's not always top of
yeah.
consciousness.
And the funny part is we don't have a translation for the Kenshi Watanabe interview they did, but if you look, there's actually a image of a figure that they don't mention anywhere else. You can see it's a photo of the Merciful Mode figure,
Mm.
which we mused might be part of this anyways. Which we still
Uh,
don't technically know, but it feels like considering he has a giant printout next to him in the photos, I'm gonna go ahead and guess that that will be Wave 3. So
oh yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
just clicked on the
yeah,
interview.
but like it's not even a small picture.
Mm-hmm.
It is like a poster print of the same
Yeah.
photo. Yeah. So hopefully we get an interview, translation of the interview. He apparently says that of the capsule mascots, his favorite is Numamon because it comes with the little poop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, these are nice. The price isn't bad. I hope they continue to include the additional figures in future waves if they keep the price up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to see exactly what they include for Crest Garurumon.
Yeah.
Because I think they would use what Metal Mamemon out of the perfects available. I think that's the most
Mm.
likely.
Hmm.
So we will see. And away from figures, this is kind of a neat surprise. Michihiko Ota is doing a benefit concert in November, but it is like at a small, like personal type venue. When I was trying to make sure I was spelling stuff about the venue right, I actually saw a layout of the place, for ticket
Mm-hmm.
purchases. There are not a lot of seats at this place. It is like a very fancy, small place. Like there's maybe 35 seats.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing a bunch of Digimon songs that in some cases he didn't necessarily sing, he helped write
Yeah,
or
I
play.
see that.
So it kind of makes you wonder who else might be showing up because it feels like there's a few
And an endless tale is hard to do alone.
yeah. So it will be like the I mean, we all know like I feel like
Yeah, I mean,
Miyazaki
yeah, but.
Ayumi's the one who some of these songs really do suggest quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So we will see. Um, but yeah, concerning the ticket prices end up translating out to about $30.
That's
Yeah,
for a
if
yeah
yeah,
for a small event that seems really good.
yeah, if you're gonna be in Japan around there, I would nab the tickets because, like, there. If you even look up clips on YouTube of people playing this place, it is a small place. This is like almost like a fancy dinner club type place.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that'll be interesting. I kind of hope anyone we know ends up going just so we can hear about it. And moving on from that, the next one's just fun. A bunch of Digimon artwork from Naoko Akamine, who
Mhm.
did the
This
app
is
did the Appmon and Hacker's Memory manga.
these are
Uh,
beautiful.
yeah. Because I'd actually messaged him to get his permission to post them because he specifically asks people not to.
Mm-hmm.
He said, yeah, all he wanted was to make sure his name was attached to it, and he seemed happy with how happy people looked over these. And it's just they all look amazing.
It's fun. It also goes beyond adventure and Atmon too.
Yeah, like we
Like
get
I love that there's Tamers and Frontier stuff in here.
the Frontier one I really like because it has like a comic manga paneling, and
Yeah.
he draws that fancy F.
Yep. The
But then in a lot of them, he does like representative style artwork of stuff.
mhm.
Like there's the Okinawa style Sora and Piyomon, which is
Yeah.
nice. Or like he
And
does the
all of the adventure ones seem to have this butterfly thing going on.
yeah. Well, it makes sense.
Oh, it totally.
Yeah.
Nice little
But yeah,
consistent touch there.
yeah. Of course, the best one, and he vaguely suggests that he decided to ask if he could do them first was all the Atmon ones,
Mm-hmm.
and those are clearly the ones where like you can tell he's putting in tons of effort. I mean, I've
Also, they have this nice consistent
theming
theme
to them.
between Haru, Eri, and
Yeah,
Astra.
yeah. The funny part is I keep forgetting Eri has glasses, so every time I look at it, I go, "Oh, why is she wearing goggles?" And then I, zoom in. It's like, "Oh wait, glasses."
She could be a goggle girl.
Yeah. But I like how they have the app icons as the stained glass,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know, they just all looks really really great. I mean, and at some point I'm gonna go through see what else if he's done anything else and update them.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the first one, the adventure one, he did before he worked on the brand officially. That one was from when Atmon was about first announced, so probably before he ever knew he was going to be working on it,
Oh,
which is just a nice touch.
yeah.
I do hope we get more of these though. But talking about artwork, we're starting to get more Battle Spirit stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so first up, the Dukemon and Beelzebumon artwork. I mean, I think these are the same. This is the same artist, don't you think? Like
Oh, yeah.
the style
You
looks
got
similar.
you gotta think so, yeah.
The backgrounds are kind of inverted in style off each other. And then we get to see Dukemon Crimson Mode from the poster and the packaging, and we got to see a few other cards. The weird thing about the Takato one, like just looking at it, mentally I know it's new art, but it feels like it's old art. It's just the tiniest shot of Takato, so it's kind of hard to tell.
Oh, yeah.
But like
Yeah.
it's one of those where I know it's new, but it feels old.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, it's like all the Digimon are so stylized that when you
yeah,
think Takato, it's just, yep, it's Takato.
yeah. And of course
Okay.
the weird one was when I was writing stuff. It's like, okay, there's the Takato card, a DR card, a red card. I'm thinking how to write it out so it doesn't sound weird.
Red card.
Yeah. And am I wrong, or is that just like a really basic CGI render of the red card, just angled slightly?
Yeah. Yeah.
It would have been nice if it had been like, have Ruki slashing a really obvious red card or
Mm-hmm.
something.
Well, they only slashed the red card once
I
in
know,
the
but
anime. That was that
but
big four idiots standing around in a circle
yeah,
scene.
but you can do the art of one of them just holding out the D arc and just the card flying by or something.
Yeah.
You don't have to just have it be the card sitting there slightly angled.
Mm.
And I know I mentioned it, but damn, that Crimson Mode art looks nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things
This
where,
is
sorry, go ahead.
this is just like this just helps stay hype with me. It doesn't really increase or decrease my hype for this set. It just maintains.
Can we point out that my favorite thing about the packaging is while they use like a Tamer style font for the name, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't say Digimon Tamers anywhere on it, but it does say Digimon Adventure.
They
Yeah,
gotta be consistent, yeah.
I will say this: the artwork for Crimson Mode is so nice that sometimes when I'm looking at it, I'm sitting there going, maybe that's a CGI render.
Oh,
Like it's not, but it looks
yeah.
so
No, I get what you're saying.
clean, and that's going to be out November 24th. The card numbers are almost identical to the O2 tri set.
Okay.
I think there's one more campaign card or something along those lines, but yeah, that will be nice. I'm really looking forward to when they start posting all the artwork, and
Oh yeah.
I have to make that ludicrous post where every day I'm just updating with stacks of cards, and you just end up with
Mm-hmm.
like a page of cards.
And I
Um,
get to click on them and drool.
yes, I'm looking. Those should start soon, since I assume they're going to do them again.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that will be nice. Do you think this does well enough that they move on to Frontier?
Hmm.
I hope so,
I
because
hope so.
like
I
like
mean, I
like
think that this is because this is more. This feels more season independent for me. Like it's not so much about the popularity of a season, although I'm sure it has some influence on it. Because the artwork is just so good. Like
yeah.
I don't care how good or bad Frontier was, or how excited I am about Frontier. I want to see cool artwork of the Frontier Digimon.
Here is my only demand: do not make Susanumon the XX rare card, Bokumon and Neimon in a single card. Have that be the ultimate card.
The ultimate stylized Pokemon and Namon art. Like I want to see Pokemon and Namon drawn like that.
Yes, I really do want that, and I really am looking forward to seeing what else we might get because I mean there's
Really,
obvious
I just want art of Namon doing anything.
stuff like Savers and Cross Wars. But
Sure.
what about doing like a manga set where you
Oh,
do stuff that's specific to the mangas?
yeah.
Uh, um, the art looks nice, and we'll see more of it. But we get to go back to Adventure now. Adventure is featured in two different Toei calendars. Oddly similar, like it's not similar visually, but like the flying through the air is used for both.
Yeah, it's very old school artwork, the style.
Yeah.
Like it looks like a calendar you would find like a good calendar, not the ones we're getting this year over here. But the artwork is like I could have seen that in being on the calendar in 2000.
Yeah. Yeah. There's not really much more to say about it, rather than, I mean, it looks nice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I do wish that like the weird Agumon on the cover of the first calendar wasn't like that, because I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
what the hell's going on with that artwork. And I believe the Tai Chi on the cover for both of them is the same.
Rotated maybe, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's all we have to say about the calendars. I mean, if you import them, that's nice. I don't think we have anything else to say about them though.
I have plenty of
Yeah.
calendar options.
Hey, the escape room is open, and people seem to be having fun failing it.
Oh yeah? I haven't heard anything about how the process of it, so.
Uh, my understanding is it's a relatively standard escape room, but there is some video stuff which has not been leaked yet.
Yeah.
Um, but we'll see. The
Yeah.
interesting thing is everyone who tries gets a sticker. I don't know why I like the stickers; it's just amusing.
I,
Uh,
I I find the stickers really, yeah, they amuse me. I don't necessarily find them interesting. It's like the pictures are so generic on 8 of the 9 of
yeah.
them, so.
Um, then the coaster and straw clips, and the custom menu is just getting those with drinks.
Yeah.
There is no specialty menu.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there's can badges, which I still don't quite like. I like that there's the art with them. I still don't quite get them.
Mhm.
Like I suppose if I was in school and was putting them on a backpack or something, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. Ita bags are a thing now, so.
Yeah, but that's open. Um, so yeah, that I mean, I think May's kind of sad because she's gonna be going like right around right a bit after it closes.
Uh
Because it closes December 9th. I believe she's going there like on the 15th.
mhm.
Um, so yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully,
the room is it's it's one I really want more details for, even though it's probably just as simple
yeah.
as it sounds.
I will say, regardless, like we all knew Chika Sakamoto was going to be Agumon. I'm so amused that they got Harada to be the narrator because that just fits so well with it being adventure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably string up the original last episode music.
And next up is something I think we actually mused on this a few months ago about how would they do a pop-up shop with nothing to actually advertise for. And the answer was not only yes, the answer was it looks amazing.
Yeah.
It's Halloween advent. The theme is adventure Halloween. The artwork is. Am I wrong saying this is the best we've gotten so far from these?
Um, It's hard for me to compare, going back to adventure age versus try age, but I do love how all of this artwork, it really draws you back to their season 1 personalities.
Yeah.
Like, you get so used to seeing them, for years in their their O2 personalities and how they've grown since then, and their tri personalities where there's another evolution. This is right back to their season 1
Yeah,
personalities.
I
Like,
mean,
you can look at Mimi and
hugging Palmon.
Sora and Takeru and go, oh yeah, that's
And,
how they
and
used to
don't
be.
and don't forget
Remember when they were kids?
and don't forget the most important thing, Hikari wearing the corpse of a friend.
Again, Hikari is Wizardmon in both adventure and tri costumes. That has me a little bit concerned.
she
She has some problems to work out here.
she has odd hobbies.
I mean, I assume that that's not the actual corpse of Wizardmon. She probably got someone to stitch that together. You can commission those.
Yeah, but still, imagine going to the effort going, so I have this dead friend. Could you
And
stitch?
doing it, and it's doing it twice that concerns.
Well, here's the thing. We're assuming she only did it twice. If she did it twice, she probably did it in the O2 years. We just haven't seen it yet.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh
And
man, doing it every year she is.
There's only
every
two.
Year she's Wizardmon and she just does the costume a little differently
I,
every
I
year.
will say this: in the artwork, there's only two characters who feel out of place to me: Agumon and Gabumon.
Yeah, they're just sort of.
It feels like they were both drawn knowing that they were going to be at the bottom around the logo.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than doing anything interesting, they're just both going, eee.
I hope one year Hikari does the Gajinka Wizardmon from the Cross Wars manga. That would be a good way to switch it up. Maybe that's what she did in 02.
I don't know why the Takaru with the candy bucket makes me so happy.
I like that Takeru is Monzaemon in this one, and Mimi is Waru Monzaemon in the Tri costumes.
Yeah. I will say, Mimi is also where one of the only art issues for me pops up. Palmon looks way too tiny to me.
Yeah, Palmon's a little plushy.
Yeah.
In that instead
yeah.
of.
And the stores are open, and they showed us the products. First up, the acrylic stands are back, and everyone seemed really excited that they're like still doing these.
Yeah, I could get in on one of those.
This is only like what, the second time they've done them, I think.
I feel like they've done it maybe more than twice, but not. It's not an every time.
It's only been 2 or 3 times. I think what happened was they did like different sets last time.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the keychains with the art, which again the art just looks nice.
For sure.
The clear file, which I don't know why I always feel like I should care about these when I don't.
I've got like 2 clear files for Digimon now, and it's like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah. Then we have the can badges, which also includes.
There's only so many things you can do with a clear file. Like, they don't fit anywhere, and you only need so many for actual functionality. Yeah.
Then we have the can badges, which also include new can badges of the Tri-Art.
Yeah. I hope that it doesn't dilute it. The one concern I have is it dilutes your chances if you only want the new art. Like, if you've already got the Halloween set.
Yeah, but this is
to get the get the Tri-Art again if you want the new kids.
Yeah, but you can also sort of think of this as a new set of 17 because the backgrounds are matched up and everything.
Yeah. I'm not here for the backgrounds.
Then we get the wrapping cloths for bentos, which these are just really. These make me.
Have they done these before?
I think they've done similar style things, but none as nice as this. This just makes me smile looking at them.
These look really good.
Yeah. Socks. I don't know, like, I laugh every time I see the socks. Am I wrong, or is it one sock of each?
Oh,
I
didn't notice that. If that would be
visually it looks like you get 2 of each sock, but they say you get an Agumon and a Tailmon pair.
Tailmon pair.
But does that mean a pair of each or one of each? Because in the photo it looks like 2 socks, like 2 of each. I mean,
that you get.
Someone buy these fucking socks and tell us. We need to know. Then there's
for the price. I think it would be 2 pairs, but
I don't know. It's like $10 for custom anime socks. I wouldn't be shocked if that's only 1 pair. I mean, it's weird, but price-wise, that wouldn't shock me.
Mismatched socks are people are okay with mismatched
Yeah.
socks these days. So.
Then there's the little pouch, which the artwork in silhouette looks. The best one in silhouette is Sora's.
Well, Sora is just the best one overall. So
Yes.
I mean, if we're gonna talk about best ones, it's just always going to be Sora.
Then can we talk about the completely does not match the theme, like weird, fancy artist rendering of the train car?
That looks so weird.
But like it doesn't fit the theme, which kind
Not
of
at
weirds me out.
all. No, it's it. The art style's just different too.
Well, it almost feels kind of like a child doing Bob Ross. Well, doesn't it?
No, it's sort of. It's
It's just it's not that it's not bad, but it doesn't match the theme, which kind of confuses me a bit.
I could see that as a face towel. It's kind of weird. Like I could see putting that on a big canvas or something
Yeah.
and putting that in the
Yeah.
above your couch, but a face towel,
And most importantly, cushions.
egg cushions.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the best part is they specifically note the front is just the egg, the back is where you see the Digimon. And I
See,
don't know
there's no
what.
question about whether you get a pair of these on
Yes.
this one.
Yeah,
You get one,
yeah.
and you'll like it.
If you were only gonna get one of these, which would you get? I feel like I would get Tokomon.
Yeah, Tokamon. Yeah, I think I'm with Tokamon. It's either Tokamon or Plotmon, and I think Tokamon's the winner here.
Here, like I want Cormon, but Cormon looks too angry for a pillow for me.
Yeah, Sunamon's too mischievous. Like I feel like it's gonna be a tack on it or something.
Now going back now back to doesn't quite fit the theme. The drawstring bag uses the artwork from the theme, but doesn't it feel more like it's a party theme?
Yeah, a little. Oh,
Yeah,
for all the designs elsewhere. Yeah,
yeah, like
surrounding the
it uses
borders and stuff.
the Halloween art, but the actual theme of the bag does not scream Halloween to me.
No,
Yeah, and then
I mean presumably you'd be using that beyond just Halloween. So
yeah, that
I
the
guess.
now the stationary set is weird in that it kind of does try to match the theme because it has the little Pumpmon um, thing on the back.
Yeah, it also has a witch's hat
Isn't
on
that on? Yeah,
Hillmon's.
that's kind of nice. I like that.
Yeah, yeah. What's
And
the ninth one?
I believe it's Pico Devimon.
Okay.
I believe that's who it's supposed to be. And then we have a spiral notepad which uses the silhouettes again. I don't know why the front looked so perfectly Halloweeny with like the orange background.
Mm-hmm.
It feels weird as a spiral notebook, but it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. And see now, here's one of the things that it's very strange to us, but my understanding is it's rather normal. Is the character masking tape?
Yeah. No, that's a new thing that's coming out
Yeah.
like everywhere.
Yeah.
So
And they do
last week we did a thing at work and I ended up getting a roll of Cubs duct tape. So I have no idea how I'm supposed to use that.
Yeah.
But
And they do adventure and
custom
try
tape
here.
is a thing.
Yeah.
The try thing that's not the Halloween designs.
No, that's kind of odd.
Yeah. Not the Halloween designs, and I don't see Mako in there either. It's just they're just going with the 8 on that one with the crests, which is a good reason to not include Mako.
Yeah. Yeah, they never really figured out what to do. I believe the one time they did like characters and they also came with stickers of their crest. I believe Mako got the Tri logo.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I think that sounds right.
yeah. Um, and now I have one of these, and I think May has one. New versions of the color changing mugs, which are just amusing. I like those.
We've got too many mugs in the house for
Yeah.
me to be tempted by
Yeah.
a Digimon one.
And then the really weird stainless steel water bottle, which uses the artwork from the Kittyland collaboration, but with Halloween theming added to it.
Yeah, it's a weird way to bring that back around.
And then they use different art from a different Kittyland collaboration for the chain keychains, where it also has the egg theming. I don't know. I like that, but it doesn't. Like, does it feel like they only chose to do that because they're in costume?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And
Well, it's
then
like, oh, we need. It's like, hey, they're
yeah,
costumes.
and then
It's like
nothing.
they're dressing up as their partners for
Yeah,
Halloween.
and nothing to do with Halloween. But I don't. I kind of love these metal keychains.
Nothing to do with Halloween and very generic silhouettes too, but
Yeah,
they're nice.
well, it's the colors that make them work. Although so,
Yes.
although
Yeah.
a few people are really upset about the Hikari one saying 801.
Wow.
Like
Some people are really picky.
I've seen some people complain that she didn't show up that day, so it doesn't make sense for it to say it.
She didn't become a partner
Yeah.
until 802.
Well, she
What are
had.
they gonna do?
Well,
Change it?
well, here's the thing.
Put 802 on
Well,
her?
here's the thing. Her Digivice was already there on 801 anyways.
No.
So arguably, she already was a partner.
I don't think
Uh,
she actually got her
n-
Digivice until 803.
yeah. Now, this has nothing to do with Halloween. It's still fucking amazing. Is the rubber keychains of them in the
Yeah, these
shoes?
are great.
They
This
actually
is so random and so perfect.
they actually teased these the night before they announced everything for the pop-up shop. The staff account showed them backwards.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Um.
we all could tell what they were,
Yeah.
but we
Yeah.
liked the idea from the
Yeah. And
start.
the last item, I believe this has been at every pop-up shop, is the crest keychains.
Yeah,
This
very
has been
simple.
like the most popular thing because
Sure.
they're nice,
Crest
they're
keychains are
affordable.
so nice.
Yeah. And for every 2,000 yen you spend, you get a postcard. Hooray!
I like postcards.
No, so do I, but I don't. I'm not gonna spend $20 for a postcard,
No.
especially a postcard that by definition is meant to be a collector's item and therefore will never be used.
There's a lot of stuff that will never be used.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I use I'm surprised I use my adventure notepads as much as I do. Like
Yeah.
my Yamato one is half gone now thanks to the
Yeah.
theatrical features.
Yeah. On top of that, just seeing the artwork again, it's all really nice. You know, we didn't talk about Gomamon kind of screwing with Joe.
That's just a regular habit though.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, and they've sort of stopped showing off items that have shown up before because we do know we've seen people get like the um what's that stupid type of plushie where they're laying down,
Oh, yeah.
where they're sort of Tsum
I
Tsum
know
style.
yeah, I know what you're talking
Yeah, they're
about.
not Tsum Tsums, but they're that style. But yeah, but people have been taking photos of buying the Wizardmon one again and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think they've just decided to stop showing that stuff on the page. Um, moving on though, from I wouldn't be shocked if they announced more stuff, but we'll see. Digimon seasons 1 through 4 are gone from Crunchyroll and iTunes. Uh, we're not sure if this is a change in licensing or just, stuff was sold and
Yeah, but it's
expired at the
still
same
up
time.
other places, so
Yeah. And like, for example, I'm pulling up a search for Digimon right now. TV seasons. Yeah, Data Squad and Fusion are still there as of right now. And it's still on Hulu and Yahoo View. Um, and there's also been some confusion by some takedown notices that have shown up. Um, those in the US have seen takedown notices from Hasbro. Those in the UK have seen takedown notices from Bandai. So at the moment, it looks like it's not that stuff is being relicensed. It might just be that Toei's asked business partners to take care of stuff for them,
mm,
but we don't know. Um, like we know what Hasbro is showing off at MIPCOM soon, and while they do have some new anime they're showing off, Digimon's not listed as something they're showing.
mhm.
It looks like Hasbro's nabbed all of Zoids though, so Zoids fans will be very happy. But yeah, so we don't know what's going on here. I I would kind of like to see. I mean, the dub stuff's all worked well, minus that they keep removing that one clip from the beginning of season 2. Where TK goes over changes.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to see that re-put in, and I would like to see the
Mhm.
subtitle versions go up by whoever ends up working with it, if it is license changing hand.
Yeah.
Because Toei doesn't seem to like doing the stuff on their own, even though they've been doing it.
Mhm.
So we will see. And we get a nice round of Tri stuff to talk about. First up, all of Tri is going to be back in a theater in Japan.
This is amazing.
And it's kind of like it's only one theater, but it's kind of an extended run because each one's getting a week in a row.
Yeah.
Which is kind of neat. Um, see, it's one of those things where like May's not the biggest fan of Part 6, but if it was playing when she was going to be there, I'm sure she would have gone. It stops a few weeks before though, unfortunately.
Oh.
Because the last show
timing is rough for May.
Yeah, the last showing's November 29th.
Hmm.
Yeah, so
I mean, it's just an opportunity to see Digimon in theaters.
Yeah, that's nice.
Which we highly recommend.
Yeah, but moving on to more positive Tri news for us, more details for the home video release of Part 6. We have the covers now, which no real surprises there.
Yeah, nothing
too
shocking here.
Yeah, the extra is going to be the Anime Expo 2018 panel, which not that shocking.
Hopefully the full one. And
not
the snippets we saw in the theater.
Yeah, I would suspect that if they're going to the effort, it's not going to be a 5-minute snippet.
Yeah.
Because that's been the most popular extra so far, I think.
Well, it's the most content.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, I liked the interviews at the end of for part 2. Those were pretty good. I did enjoy those a lot.
Yeah, those were neat. Pre-orders are up at Amazon and other places for also the 6 film collection, which is it kind of weird they're not doing the digital for this.
For the 6, the box set doesn't. Oh, not. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's a nice. It's a nice thing if you bought set disc by disc, I guess.
Yeah, and going on to the collection, we have the packaging for those in the UK. It's out December 3rd, which is a week before ours. It's kind of funny because since it's the same art on this one, we can kind of compare and contrast. I kind of like the way they did the cover better for the UK version.
Yeah.
Where they push the logo down to the bottom so that they can raise up and really feature the artwork.
Mm-hmm. I generally prefer the UK covers.
I don't disagree.
That's kind of been a consistent.
Yeah, I don't disagree on that. But it looks really nice here. I'm curious to see what the discs look like. Like, are they going to be rescreened?
Right.
So that'll just be interesting. And now we can talk about, hey, the Tri 6 English theatrical screenings.
Woo.
It was in theaters, and I feel like the first thing we have to say is there were no major mistakes that we're going to nitpick to death like we've done before.
This was strong.
Now, the best thing, though, and I know that this is something we both want to talk about, is they fixed one of the mistakes from a prior part.
This is my favorite thing ever.
Is because everyone
their own mistake.
Yeah. Now everyone remembers in part 1 when they did Dan, they said it was Meikumon speak because they just didn't want to deal with it. But the problem is in part 2,
the dialect actually becomes a plot point.
Yeah, is they can't really avoid it because they just don't want to rewrite other characters saying stuff. In this one, she says it again, and TK immediately corrects her, therefore tying it into part 5 where she's embarrassed about her voice.
Yes, which is a perfect character note for her.
Yes.
Like her concealing her accent, that is so consistent with her behavior. Yes. Especially, in part 5 where she's kind of falling into it because she's such a mess.
Yeah. That was amazing that they had TK just throw in a line and it fixes one of the
that whole Meikumon speak was bullshit, wasn't it?
Yeah. Now the only way it could have been better was if TK also went, and my mother never remarried.
Oh. No,
because
sorry.
that
just forget that they never did that.
Yeah, that one just annoys me because it wasn't even a quick explanation. It was a speech.
No, that was deliberate. That was a deliberate. We should try to explain that. No, don't. Well, if you're going to try to explain that, don't be wrong.
Now, and the funny part, the most obvious, the funny part is, and this is one of those things that even I brought up really quickly before we recorded. The only really noticeable quote unquote error, AR actually missed.
Yeah.
But to
Explain
be
the error and explain why I missed
yeah,
it.
well, to be fair, we're not 100% sure why you miss it. We have a theory though. Is there's a
I'll tell
the
you
ki- the
straight
ki-
up why I missed it.
the characters all digivolve, and then fighting starts, and then randomly we hear someone we think it's WarGreymon go digivolve to for no reason in the middle of a fight, and he's not on screen. It's just the audio's just there. Our going theory is that AR stopped paying attention to write down something and somehow missed it.
Here's the thing: is when you're reviewing the dub, and it's the third or fourth time I've seen this movie, and I'm reviewing the dub only. Guess what? I'm usually not paying any attention to the fighting
Yes,
sequences,
which means that one of the most notable parts of the dub in theaters AR missed while reviewing the dub.
and they'll probably fix it if Part 5 was any
Yeah,
indicator.
yeah. Although to be fair, that stood out a lot more than this. Like this is a small little thing that
Yeah, this
many
is just a one,
yeah,
that
yeah.
was just a timing
And,
error or
and
whatever.
and of course the odd thing is we're technically not 100% sure they fixed anything. It's just that it makes so much more sense watching it again.
Well,
It has to
so
have been
much
redone.
more is
Yes.
strong. It makes marginally.
Yeah. Well, what
It doesn't feel as egregious in
yeah.
Part 5. But oh, that was
Yes.
Part 5. This is Part 6,
Yeah.
and Part 6 is generally really good.
Yeah.
What I really like about Part 6, actually talking about that, is that didn't feel like the big decider for Tai. Is because if that was the moment that Tai realized that yes, we need to kill Meikumon, and it's really not re-explored in Part 6, that mess of a speech becomes a lot more egregious. But in Part 6, what the dub does really well that I appreciated
Is making things
is that
clean and clear.
it makes it clean and clear that the real turning point to Tai realizing he needs to kill Meikumon was actually Daigo. The speech Daigo gave about him not being able to stop Maki, and going, it's like it's so hard when your friends are the ones who become the enemy.
Yeah.
And Tai's going, he's kind of putting two and two together, going, yeah, okay, we
And
got to do this.
and as I recall, you got your most hoped for moment, which was they would remember the dub names for the O2 kids.
That wasn't my hope. That was my holy god, that don't fuck this up.
Yeah.
That wasn't a hope. That was you. Oh,
Yeah.
man, if they screw this up.
Yeah. They got that
They
correct.
talked about them a lot more. I feel like they talked about them more.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide if they talked about it more or if just hearing it rather than reading it made it flow better.
It's almost certainly the hearing it, but it does feel like the concern for them becomes a lot more apparent.
Yes.
And it's like you can definitely hear, like, when Izzy's calling Matt about that, you can say, oh, they found Davis, they were in the digital world the whole time, holy crap.
Oh, and I guess
there's some more of a sense of urgency there, like they probably were worried the whole time, it just never came up.
And I guess we should talk about one of the oddest changes, which in Part 5 we weren't sure if it was purposeful or not, which is that in his disguise the mysterious man has a quote-unquote Ken voice, which is not Ken's previous voice, but it's Todd Haberkorn.
When he's in his emperor form, we can use dub terminology now. When he's in his emperor form, he's voiced by Todd Haberkorn.
Now it makes sense because every other time he spoke as the emperor, it was always right as he was about to transform or when he was in the digital world.
He did it a couple times in Parts 3 and 4 right before he transformed.
But those were also always in the digital world also.
Yes.
So this is the only time that we sort of see him sauntering around the real world in the emperor disguise and actually talking. And
they even got Hackmon. Hackmon even called him out for it. Like, you're still hedging your bets here. Like, you're not so sure about this, so that's why you're not going full Jedi in the real world.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good Ken voice. I kind of wished it was Prince, though.
The possibilities for why they didn't use Prince, if that was really what they were going for, are a little, I'm not so happy with. But if they really wanted to imitate Ken, they really should have tried to get Prince.
Yeah, I think the idea that this went was it's older Ken style, and maybe Prince wasn't available the one day they decided to record.
Maybe.
Who knows?
But I mean, it was across two different movies, so I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm sure. I feel like Prince. I feel like he would have made himself
Or
available.
maybe this was a secret stealth apology. Because,
Uh,
well, remember, based on what we know from most of the actors, it seems like part one of Try was dubbed a lot sooner than we got
oh, your
it.
apology to Habercorn, you mean?
So I vaguely wonder if Habercorn actually recorded his Ty.
I strongly suspect that Habercorn was the original voice of
Yeah.
Ty for
So
Try.
I sort of wonder if maybe this was casting him there so that he had a more serious role in it. Because
Could be.
at one point Habercorn was talking about how he recorded for Digimon, and we all sort of went, after it came out, we all sort of went, I guess it was the game, but he doesn't talk much in the game as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and Habercorn, I mean, he does a good Ty. He was in the
yeah, I know.
that
Yeah,
battle, the death battle between
yeah,
Ty and Red. He was
yeah,
the voice of Ty in that,
yes,
and he was all right.
yeah.
So
So I
he could
suspect
definitely do a Ty,
this was a make good.
possibly. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to find out. The thing is though is most of most people who do voice acting in the U.S. for anime are too classy to actually tell us.
Yeah.
There's only a handful of times we've ever found out when stuff like this has happened, and it's normally we found out by accident.
Mm-hmm.
So it will
I don't
be,
know. I found out. I've gotten a couple inside dirt on some stuff. So
yeah, but
I
most of
can't
the
really say it on the podcast, but I
but
can.
that's what I mean. Even if someone does tell you, it's told in confidence, and you can't really
Yeah,
say anything.
for sure. Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah. So
yeah, no, I'm definitely with you that Todd seems to have recorded Ty
yeah,
before they got Seth.
yeah. So I think this was probably a make good on behalf of the producers and director.
Hmm.
So
I mean,
do
at the same time, Habercorn obviously got paid. So
yeah. Well, but there's also the fact that he went to the effort in the first place.
mm,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I get
it's
okay. So
the primary thing is getting paid, though.
yeah,
Let's be real here.
yeah. Although he did see.
I seriously, I was joking about this with Bo Billingsley when I said that he didn't get credited in part two,
Got
and I'm
paid.
like, at least you got paid for it, right? He's like, yeah, we're good.
The one thing is and Habercorn was actually surprised by this by multiple people on Twitter. He seemed surprised he wasn't credited.
That
I mean,
Yeah,
I
I've gotten so many mixed reactions about the lack of credits in
well,
it's like they seem to have gone with the part one credits, and I think they may have added just one name
yeah.
throughout the rest of
Here's the
Try,
thing.
even though they've added a number of different
It
actors.
it would bother me less if if Toei would say the cast, because I've
Mm-hmm.
asked people who could actually answer, and they've literally said, I can't say anything. Only Toei can say anything about the
Yeah,
casting.
Paul St. Peter suggested that that might have been had something to do with it.
Yeah.
Like he did not seem so surprised that he was uncredited
Yeah.
in part two.
But yeah, it's anyone who could answer the questions has literally just said, I'm not allowed to answer casting questions except for people who Toei have said who's playing who.
I also
And
will go to my grave saying Jamieson Price had a bit role in part five.
wasn't he? Didn't he play Angemon in part 5?
Oh, it might have been Angemon too. I was talking to one of the communications ops.
Oh yeah, that was him. But I believe he was. I think he was Angemon in part 5 and 6.
Oh, okay.
Unless I'm mixing up my names again, which is always possible, but I believe it was. So I guess okay. Overall, did Try dub-wise finish strongly to you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I honestly think, I think at the end of the Japanese version, I think Try may have fallen below Tamers in my overall rankings. If we're just going off of the dub, I think Try stays on top.
Yeah.
I think that's how much of a difference it makes. And there's no other season I would rank that differently in my overall
Yeah.
rankings.
So I guess the other.
I think it makes that much of a difference, not only with the dub, but also having the theatrical experience of seeing it as an entire movie rather than a chopped into episodes.
So the other thing to bring up is the theater experience. Mine sucked.
Mine would have sucked under normal circumstances because they also did this in part five. They
Well,
forgot to
well,
turn
no, no,
the
no, 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 no. I don't. Um, um, th- Do you know how most, not all, but how most Fathom screenings actually work?
No.
It's a satellite feed that they save. So
Okay.
it's a 1080i feed that is
Hmm.
converted while you're watching it to 1080p 24, which there's no issue doing that. It can come
Okay.
out perfectly.
Yeah.
Unless you have a setting wrong, in which case the deinterlacing was done wrong the entire film.
Oh man.
So the whole film I'm seeing combing on edges, and
Oh
it's
god.
like I can't leave because I'm here to see the fucking movie. But yeah,
In part five, our screen went dark for like
yeah, you mentioned
3
that.
minutes early on, and in both part five and part six, it took halfway through the movie for the theater to turn the lights off.
The
It's like
theater,
the house lights were up for the half of part five and part six, which I loved because it really helps me when I'm taking notes.
with how often theaters do Fathom screenings, I'm shocked how much it seems to still flummox them.
Yeah, it's like it does feel a
Like
lot like they forget that it's happening.
I very rarely am at a Fathom screening that starts on time. Like they seem to forget to hit play on it, or
Mm.
they will forget to turn on the pre-show stuff, so they will hit play at the time, and then
Yeah,
the
I don't.
30-minute
Yeah,
timer starts.
part five they didn't show the pre-show stuff.
Yeah. Um,
Part six, I could have sworn the pre-show stuff was the same one that should have been on part five. But
well, okay, the pre-show here, there was the cards were the same,
okay,
where it was the character cards with the
yeah, it was
pink
just the
backgrounds.
characters,
Um,
character bios.
the pre-show videos, first off, they did another catch-up, but it was subtitled again, which is still weird.
Yeah, it still bugs me.
And then it's weird to do this because this one specifically is almost verbatim in the film.
Mm-hmm.
They showed the evolution extra from the Japanese Blu-ray, but just the
Oh
Agumon
yeah,
part.
yeah. I know. I remember
But
that.
here's the thing: Agumon only evolves in Part 6 when Tai shows up,
Yeah, that's
and
the
it
whole.
happens
They go
all
through the pretty much the whole sequence.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then at the end they showed the panel stuff, but it was like clipped apart really hard.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't unpleasant. It was just weird to see it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but that was
My
there then. That was.
my favorite moment of that though is when they're taking the selfie of the crowd shot,
Mhm.
where we saw that selfie from like 3 or 4 different angles at the convention, because we saw the photo of that Colleen took and Joshua took, and
Yeah.
and this was from like the same press photo of them taking the selfie, and it just made me laugh.
Yeah.
And I guess the other odd thing was is we actually got a full the full credit theme,
Oh yeah, yeah.
because it didn't have these. There was no TV size one of this made because they used the part
Hmm.
5 for the TV edit.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with it. I'm looking forward to it. Do we have anything else to say about this one? Mine is, hey, it was good, and we don't really have much in the way of complaints.
I think we do have to mention the fourth wall breaking at the end.
Oh
Because
God,
holy crap.
yeah, yeah. I forgot.
We cannot let
yeah,
we cannot
yeah.
let this go without bringing up.
I forgot about that because it flowed so well, and it got like the largest laugh. Is as at the end of part 6, as the lights are going down, Gomamon goes, and I didn't get any lines this episode, or something along. I don't know the exact line, but
I didn't get to say a word this whole episode, which is
yeah.
one, it's a movie, not an episode, and two, that's not even correct. It doesn't matter. It was hilarious.
Yeah. Well, I assume they mean
the
that.
bit we get of Try is the fourth wall break. It's like
Yes.
that's so perfectly dubby.
And they kept in the beeping, which, depending on who you are, seems to either delight you or upset you.
I mean, I'm glad they didn't try to switch it to the sound effect they use in the original dub.
Well, no. I mean, in the sense of it being existing at all. Some people do not like the hint.
Oh, I don't mind. I don't mind the noise. I don't like the implication of the hint.
No, that's my point. No, that's my point. No, that's my point. No one's bothered by the noise. I mean the implication of it.
Oh, well, I've dismissed the implication of it. So
you're saying you don't respect authorial intent?
Exactly. Death of the author.
So what AR is saying is read his fanfics and tell him how he's wrong.
I leave a lot of stuff open to interpretation in my fanfics, so you can absolutely do that. And I've actually gotten some pretty
Well,
fun theories
so
about
that's the funny part.
things.
I say it as a joke, but you would be so happy no matter how many people message you about anything about it. Like
Yes, that's the
if someone wants to argue about your story with you, there would be nothing that would make you happier.
Mm-hmm. People have done it, and I love it.
Yeah. So, are there any other amusing moments we need to think of before we move on?
I will link to my blog post in the show notes, and you can read it.
I think you mean I will link to your blog post in the show notes.
Yeah. I will send that over to you right now, just so you can read it. And there's a whole bunch of little stuff there, along with a general discussion of what makes the dub interesting.
And I will probably forget about it and message you in a couple of hours for it, as has happened before.
I mean, just the fact that the way they add dialogue to not only break up some of the silence that does occasionally drag down Tri, but the fact that they also use it to clear some stuff up.
Yeah.
I think they go out of their way to make the experience a little easier to follow. That you don't have to watch it three times.
They make it a bit easier to follow, but it also doesn't feel like it dumbs it down, which I like. Because
oh no, it doesn't do that either.
Well, what I mean is at times Tri is not interested in explaining to you why you're not understanding something that maybe it's completely clear if you're really, really paying attention closely.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've heard a lot of people still seem upset that the narration from the beginning of part 1 doesn't come up again, and it does. They just don't point it out.
It does. It's all metaphor though.
Yeah, it's metaphor, and it's very important, especially to stuff in around parts 5 and 6.
Yeah, part 5 and 6 is where
but at no point do they actually
Demiurge stuff really comes into play.
But at no point do they go, "Hey, remember that Demiurge stuff? This is what we're talking about."
I wondered, like, what do you think that a character named Demiurge is just going to show up?
That seems to be what some people expect. And I've heard this as a common complaint is people think that was dropped or not dealt with. That was 100%.
It kind of did. It was just named Yggdrasil, but whatever.
Yeah. That stuff all does come up. They just don't care if you're either paying attention or they're not interested in telling you, basically. And that could be a good or a bad thing based on what you're looking for.
Yeah, and there's plenty of articles you can go on to kind of help you navigate that stuff, because the concepts of Demiurge and Idea do show up as a recurring theme throughout Tri.
Yeah. I guess the way to put it is if you think back to O2, if you don't know about Cthulhu and H.P. Lovecraft, certain things in that episode don't make sense, but the episode itself moves in a certain way where you can sort of guess.
Like I didn't know anything about Lovecraft when I first saw the episode, and I still went, "Holy crap, that was trippy! I loved it."
Yeah.
But then when you find out about you learn more about Lovecraft and go back and follow it and catch all the references.
It makes exactly
more fun.
It's basically the same thing here, except in the case of that episode, it was all packed into 24 minutes, so they couldn't talk too much about metaphor.
Yeah, like this is where I think on Tumblr, especially Rihanna09 has done some fantastic articles breaking down the philosophical, the Platonic elements of.
I believe she was also the one who did the article about the silical structure story.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's right.
Where instead of a point-to-point act, it's actually meant to be a spiral where you're supposed to be going around in almost a whirlpool of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great reference for your Tri navigation.
Yeah, and of course the weirdest part though was when people started arguing with her about story structure. It's like you're arguing a story structure that
that's the story structure. It exists.
And the weird thing is even if you were to say no, it's a 3-point story structure, I can still point to that in way it works out for Tri. It's just
it does.
It works just fine.
It's fine. It's just it's not what they did.
Yeah. But yeah, the weirdest argument I saw was that you can't have a story that isn't 3 points.
Like the 4-point story structure is so like it's common because it's so flexible. Like you can see some 4 Coma comics that use that structure
The weird thing
a
was,
lot.
the weird thing was I saw a lot of people saying that Try was a 3-point structure, which it fits, but it fits almost any structure. I mean, because the 3-act
Yeah, I
structure
mean,
fits Try well, the 4-point structure fits, but it definitely is that spiral structure.
most stories have a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah, and
It's just that you kind of have to break that down a little further
but
and
but even
delineate it a little bit more.
but even for Try, if you just want to use the classic 3-act structure, it's really easy to do because
Mm-hmm.
part 1 is the inciting incident.
Yeah.
Part 3 is the rising action, which then falls.
Mm-hmm.
And then 5 is where the climax begins. That is
You can turn Try into a 5-act story structure if you want.
Yeah, it's not that hard, but they very clearly were doing a spiral. I mean,
Oh yeah.
which is weird because the same people were saying they weren't were complaining that things seemed to be going in circles. um, yeah. So
Shock.
yeah. Is that all we have to say about the dub for now?
I've written extensively on it, so I think
Well,
we're done.
we both sort of have, and I'm gonna have to write about it
Yeah.
again when the Blu-ray comes out. Um, so while you guys think up questions, we'll just do kind of a quick mini-ish topic. So start thinking up questions. What do we like to do around Halloween? I think this mostly applies to us when we were kids, because I don't think either of us really do much Halloween stuff anymore, do we?
I can't remember the last time I did a Halloween costume. I know a friend did a Halloween party that was a Harry Potter theme, so he threw my Draco back on for a day, but that was a few years ago, and that was the last time I had a Halloween costume. I feel like I'm gonna get stuck in one this year because we've got to take Lucas trick or treating.
So, come on, are you gonna match with him though? Come on.
Possibly. Simone is trying to work. She has a scheme going on, and I'm a little concerned.
Simone, just make sure you get pictures. We'll put them on the podcast. But yeah, like when I was little, I always loved the Halloween specials. The Great Pumpkin,
I see the Garfield one. That was a favorite.
Yeah, I loved the Garfield one. That one was great.
That got regular play in the household.
Yeah.
Growing up.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to get past the Garfield one, to be honest.
I think it's not that hard, but
Well, no. I mean in the sense of like thinking about. You can think of a ton of classic Christmas specials, and they're all great. I feel like the Garfield one kind of stood a bit higher than other Halloween specials, is what I mean.
I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. Like, I mean, the Peanuts one is pretty classic too.
Yeah, but yeah. Peanuts and Garfield are kind of the high point. Nickelodeon used to do some weird Halloween stuff. Like I remember there was one. It was like Mark Summers got caught in a haunted hotel or something.
Oh, I vaguely remember that.
Yeah.
That does sound familiar.
Yeah. Like he was on.
That was back when Mark Summers was associated with Nickelodeon, and not
he still is.
Yeah, he comes back once in a while.
No, he's on the new version of Double Dare.
Oh, is he on the new? Okay.
He's the announcer for it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
that's nice, because he keeps the thing with Mark Summers is he keeps popping up on Food Network because he produces so many of those shows.
And
so like it'll be like some random thing where they need to talk to a producer, and suddenly Mark Summers shows up, and it's like,
yeah, he's the announcer. The announcer used to be, what was his name? Doc Hollywood.
Oh,
the guy who used to announce on Double Dare.
I know.
Yeah, so Mark Summers is the announcer for the new version of Double Dare, but there was an episode where the new host had lost her voice, so they called Summers over to the mic, and he did the 3, 2, 1 countdown and everything. Yeah. Okay. So we got some questions. I guess Jonathan Johnson wants to know, what is Demiurge? Demiurge is more, in this case, it's more the concept of. It's more complicated than we really have time to go over, but it's
look up Brianna's articles. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, if you really want to know, you have to look up it basically has the concept of birth and destruction, life, and just the narration at the beginning is basically saying that Meicoomon is not evil, but Meicoomon also does not know what it is to a degree.
Yeah.
Basically, the Meikumon was corrupted before she was Meikumon, but
Mm-hmm.
but there is still a Meikumon. It's not just a thing.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
general idea is that it's telling you from moment one things are bad before the story begins, just no one's aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay, Fantasy World wants to know from parts 1 through 6, what is your most favorite enjoyable and least favorite enjoyable parts? I'm going to assume they mean the actual parts, not like scenes.
Okay, good.
Um, favorite, I I feel like for me it has to be 1 or 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
3 does
Favorite is probably 3.
yeah. I feel like
Enjoyable,
is probably
I still
one
like. I like 2. I
two
still think 2 is the most enjoyable for me.
two may be the most enjoyable. Minus that it ends on such a cliffhanger story character thing.
Yeah, but I love that
No,
cliffhanger.
I love it too,
Like that was
but
such a great ominous ending
it,
in
it,
a
it was. But
but I was
I think 1 for me because it was just so special to see everything.
yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah,
I get that just as like holy crap, this is going to be
yeah,
good. I
and
wasn't ready for that.
no, and least favorite.
Least
I feel like this kind of isn't fair at least because like, and I've talked really positively about it even back before you were on the show. I
mhm.
would say 4 is probably the least enjoyable, not because I dislike it, but because every other part has stuff I can look at and go, wow, what, like it goes crazy special. In 4 almost felt like it had to do a lot of heavy lifting, so it didn't get to do that.
Yeah, see, 4 I enjoyed 4 a lot, but I had a lot of problems with the movie, but I enjoyed it because there was a lot of recurring action in part 4, and you
Yeah,
don't really get that in some of the other
yeah,
movies. So I was okay with enjoying
yes,
4, but it
like
just falls apart when you think about some certain
here's
things.
the weird thing. The craziest part of 4 is so removed from the rest of it that until right now, I forgot it was even there when I was talking about 4 right now, which is the prologue part at the beginning.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the prologue is
Yeah,
fantastic.
but it's very disconnected from the content of part like it
Hmm.
it's stuff we already it's
It
just
I mean it
show
comes back with,
yeah
they do explore Daigo and
yeah
Maki's
no
story
they
in
absolutely do, but
lore.
that's also stuff that they were exploring prior to that. So
It's one of
you
those things that you forget that that's all in part 4.
yes, that's exactly what that's
Yeah.
exactly what I meant. I literally forgot about it while talking about it.
Least enjoyable is probably part 5, just because that's such a gut-wrenching movie. It's so hard to, it's good, but it's just really hard to process it through.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel that same way about 6 too at times.
Yeah.
So I guess 6 is still probably my least favorite.
Six,
But
six, six is also interesting because, and I even thought about this while sitting in the theater. Man, they really do spend a while before pointing out that Tai Chi's not dead. Like for such an
yeah,
obvious moment that they literally told us before it even came out. I forgot how long it is until they do anything with that.
it's and that I sort of in a way I kind of like that. Just I think what they're going for is sort of going. It's like they're still kind of in the moment of this is a kids anime. It's all gonna be fine. It's all gonna be okay. And then at one point, that point where Sora just goes, "What if it's not?"
Well, no, I think the part I think and the interesting thing is they do continue that theme, not with Taichi, but with Meikumon, where
Yeah.
mine
Oh yeah.
like there is a hint at the end, but in the actual content of Try itself, no, there isn't, and the weird thing is it's not done in a cruel way, minus that it feels emotionally cruel, because to a
Hmm.
degree you sit there and you think, oh, it is a kids anime and everything's gonna be fine.
Hmm.
And then they kill the weird old guy with pasty skin, and 20 years later, the director tells you the little pea thing died.
Death of the author. Death of the author. Death of the
Yeah.
author.
Well, we don't really need to do Death of the Author because his stuff has already been knocked out multiple times, and he doesn't seem happy about it.
Now I want that little pea thing to show up randomly.
No, but yeah, but the other thing is, it's like I'm sorry, but it did not die off screen, and no one mentioned it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, So someone wants to know, do we think there should be more superior modes like Shoutmon got? No, because it doesn't matter. Because okay, here's the thing: Arrestramon got a superior mode, which was more Arrestramon, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a name. So like
Yeah.
Omegamon Merciful mode is Omegamon Superior mode. It's just a name. Like if they just called it,
And
um,
there's a lot of there's
yeah,
all the different Imperial Dramon modes,
yeah,
and
like
the Dukemon modes, and there's
exactly,
just a lot of different
yeah,
Digimon have different modes. So
yeah,
I don't think that there's a requirement to have multiple different
yeah,
superior modes to suggest that superior mode is some sort of a
exactly,
category. It's just a name of
yeah,
a higher
yeah.
form.
Agu Champ wants to know: are there any Digimon you'd like to see featured in a future Digimon anime?
Citramon.
Yes. All joking aside, yes, Citramon, because oddly they did it really well. Like
They
that,
did.
like that could have been such a clusterfuck, and it came out
I,
perfectly.
Nimoy is proud of that, and I don't blame him.
He should be. It was great, especially since they did the Don Patch voice.
Yeah.
But
And he does make a good point. It's like it was that or cut the whole
yeah,
episode, which was not a good option.
no,
Like I like the fact that there is not a single episode of Digimon that got cut in the dub.
yeah.
Like there were plenty of scenes that got hacked up a little bit, but the fact that every episode survived is impressive
You
because
know,
that's not the case with a lot of other anime.
now I know who I would like to see get a bigger role just because it is an important Digimon who has never really gotten a notable role. Tyrannomon.
Oh yeah, that's a good.
I'm not saying it has to be a partner or a villain, but like could we get more than like Tyrannomon
Yeah,
standing around for a
Tyrannomon
minute?
is like we were talking about generic one-shot villains, and Tyrannomon seems to fit that bill more
Yeah.
often than he deserves.
But like yeah, Tyrannomon like was the original signature Digimon and he's never been used
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
Like he shows up in small tiny things, but not even that much.
Hmm.
Like it doesn't even need to be a real Tyrannomon. Say it's a fake Tyrannomon and use that old shitty CGI model from 1997
Oh, God.
and just have him being all doofy around on screen.
Can we get Omekamon in a series?
I feel like you know what's weird? There was a scene where they could have used Omekamon, instead they used Betsumon.
I think Betsumon was a good choice on that
It
one.
was, but
I know what you're saying,
yeah,
but
yeah,
Betsumon had just that extra level of cringe about
yeah,
him.
yeah. I feel like if they use Omekamon, it has to be like a Yoda type thing, where
Oh my god.
no, where like they need to find Omegamon to help them or to give them power or something, and instead they find Omegamon who runs around and acts goofy, and then it turns out at the end it was Omegamon all along.
Or that the prophecy was a typo. And that they should have no, it was really Omekamon.
Yeah, you can
You're supposed to find Omekamon. He can help
yeah,
somehow.
you can just have Omegamon be like Excalibur from Soul Eater. Just have him dancing
There
around
you go.
screaming about going to California.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
On a more serious note, we need to get Dorumon some more love
yeah,
in the anime.
yeah.
That's a really bland answer,
Eh, True. Um,
but it's not wrong.
okay. Then Ramon wants to know, with Digimon going to a mature direction, was that my last attempt at targeting kids? No.
I don't think so.
They're aiming logical stuff at older audience. They're not aiming everything. Like
Yeah.
even yeah, and even when they're aiming stuff at the older audience, it's all in ways that could kind of still fit into the Shonen Jump type. Like as much as everyone's
Hmm.
going, oh man, Survive seems mature. People could die. That's not really that far off from Dragon
Die in
Ball.
Shonen. Yeah, people die in Shonen Jump shows all the time.
Yeah. I mean, like when you think about like people are like, ooh, we saw blood splatter. I'm like, they have blood dripping down people's faces in
Cross
Naruto,
Wars.
Bleach. Yeah, it's one of those things where is it for mature?
Adventure if you count Ogremon.
Yeah, it's for mature audiences in the sense that it's not specifically aimed at 8-year-olders.
Yeah.
But there's also very little to keep an 8-year-older from enjoying it.
Hmm.
But we'll see. But I the only real question is how much more Atmon will we see? I would like to see more,
I would like to see.
or
I
at
would like to see
least
more exploration of whatever the Digimon universe side of that was supposed to
yeah.
be.
I'm not sure there ever was. I think it was just a
Yeah,
name for the show.
yeah. I
Because here's the thing, they used the name for the 20th anniversary store also.
yeah, like I don't know what that's about.
I
I'd
think
like to get a little more
no, I
clarification.
honestly believe the only reason that was done was they had try running.
Hmm.
You had Digimon Adventure running, so you couldn't just have Digimon. You had to have Digimon name. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe.
Um, yeah, let's see what else. Yeah, okay. Fantasy World says lots of problems with Part 4, but they find it the most interesting. 4 is interesting. It's just one of those that it doesn't quite stand out as much as the others because it.
Four is really interesting. It has a lot of problems. It requires a lot of mental
Yeah.
gymnastics to make it work.
The
I have
hardest
done those mental gymnastics, but
the hardest
I
part
don't
of
appreciate having to.
the hardest part about finding 4 interesting, like we said, is that the most interesting thing in 4 overall kind of isn't in 4.
Yeah, the most interesting thing of four is over before four really starts.
Yeah. So, I mean, we didn't even know that was coming. They didn't include that in the previews, which was very fun.
Yeah, the only hint we got about that was that Maki keychain,
Um, yeah,
which I still want.
yeah, and Juggernaut asks how come both Daigo and Taichi did not get into the pod? I mean, thematically, it wasn't going to happen because someone had to hit the button anyways.
Someone had to hit the button, and
And here's
Daigo was
well,
not
yeah,
ready.
that's the other thing is Daigo wasn't
He
making
knew
it
he
out
was
of there.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, Daigo explains right after also why he's not in the pod.
Yeah.
I mean, we get a full explanation. Okay. Oh, and the same person from before wants to know what's our favorite Shoutmon form.
Oh man.
Here's the weird thing, Shoutmon
I
has a lot of great forms,
He
to be honest.
does have a lot of great forms. I generally like the alternate 4 ones. Like I like 4K and 4B.
See,
Like I think 4K is really cool.
see,
I think 4B is really
for
cool.
me, it's hard to think of a lot of the alternates because like both versions of X7 got the most awesome introductions possible.
Yeah, I'm trying to go a little outside the
No,
box
no, no,
here.
no, absolutely. But like when you think of them, like both X7s got like such great introductions.
Yeah,
Like when all the Digimon are just
spilling off of.
yeah. But like even before that, were like all the chips turn back into the Digimon who have been dead for years, and then they just all start flying into Shoutmon, and we
I
sort of
don't
see
disagree
Shoutmon
with any
yelling.
of this.
Yeah. But
I'd just be really out there and just say my favorite was 2.
yeah. No, see, we know we should be more clever. The Gajinka one.
Oh, the correct answer is 6. Manga exclusive. There you go.
Did that show up in the DS game?
I have no idea.
I know some of the weirder
I
ones show
keep
up in the game.
forgetting there was a DS game for
Yeah,
Crosswords.
and the manga has the evolutions for all the other characters, which are interesting.
Oh, those were great.
Yeah.
See, that's one I threw Nenes in my fic. I threw Raptor Sparrow on some love.
But yeah, let's see
Yeah,
what
I'm
else.
going with 4. I'm gonna go with 4B and well there.
Okay. Oh, Alan has a good one. What Digimon group do you want to see featured in the next Digimon series, but it cannot be the Royal Knights?
Gotta be Olympus 12, right? I need
Eh,
the Olympus 12.
I don't
I'm
want the
sorry.
I don't want the Olympus 12 because it comes up too much in topics in annoying ways.
Why? Because everyone wants them?
No, no, no. We're like, there will be a discussion that has nothing to do with it, and someone will go, well, Habu wants the Olympus 12 to show up. It's like, Habu's been a producer on games for 10 years and he hasn't put them in yet.
Not all the Olympus 12 are even in his games.
No, that's what I mean. He has said, and people have latched onto it, that he would like to do a game about the Olympus 12.
Yeah.
He's been doing games for 10 years, and I don't think he's ever included them all, even like.
Yeah, he's got the full roster aren't even in Hacker's memory. By then I think he's only got half of them.
But that's what I mean. He's in charge. Like if
you're a fan of Marsmon, you're out of luck.
But that's what I mean. He's in charge. If he really wants to do them, they could. What he means is he wants a game based around them, and that's probably not going to be approved.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's not a thing for a game. That's that would be something I would like to see, a subgroup in an anime. No. Maybe not even a group.
Here's how the Olympus 12 will be handled. it will be a story written on the back of a gum wrapper. That
Yeah, it
is,
feels like this
yeah.
point.
But yeah, the Olympus 12 are an obvious answer. Um, I feel like pseudo made up groups. Like, what about just like Armor Digimon? Or like some
As actually referring to themselves as Armor Digimon, you mean?
well,
Because
like
Armor Digimon show up all the time,
no,
but just not
that's what
referring to
that's what I
themselves
mean
as that.
as a specialized group. Or what about the Ancients?
Oh, the Ancients would be nice.
Like they were a huge part of a series, and they don't really.
They were a huge part of a series and didn't actually appear in it.
Yeah, they only show up in background information.
Yeah, which makes them more interesting.
Yeah.
It's like let's see what these guys are.
Yeah.
May would agree with you on that one.
Yeah. Can there ever be a
Acting
Leomon?
Chimeras.
Can there ever be a Leomon that doesn't die in the season?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, here's the thing: we get a season where a Leomon comes back to life better than he was before.
Yeah.
That happens in Cross. We get we get
that people forget that.
Yeah.
Because
like we get a
Leomon dies so early in Cross where it's like, well, they got that out of the way, and
Yeah.
then he comes back in the middle of like,
we
okay.
get an evil zombie type Leomon who dies in a stupid, hilarious way, and then he's brought back to life as a good guy later, and they don't kill him.
When I ranked the Leomon deaths in Digimon, that was a really low one.
True.
That was not a great Leomon death.
Let's see. Any more questions?
The really funny thing is when I'm thinking about what I would do if I had an original season. If I had a Leomon, I'd probably still kill him.
Yeah.
But creatively.
Someone else asked, "What about the Devas?" We already got them.
The Devas are. Yeah. They had their moment. Yeah. I don't need to see them again.
Yeah. Like, are they really going to be brought up any better than we saw? Let's see.
I mean, they can be brought up better, but it wouldn't be novel.
But that's what I mean.
You can definitely do better than the Devas were presented in Tamers.
Well, no, what I mean,
no.
What I mean is like they showed up pseudo long form. They had moments.
Yeah. They were all right. Like, you could definitely write the Devas as being a better group. But...
Well, that's what I mean. But you couldn't necessarily present them better. Is what I mean. Like, it's not like, say, the Royal Knight show up in Frontier, where there's just two guys who just kind of show up, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the low bar.
Yeah. Like the Devas.
Yeah, like if there was a new series and the Devas showed up, I don't think people are going, "Oh my god, the Devas."
Also, because they're not really Digimon, sort of. Sometimes they seem to. They're kind of treated as Digimon, sometimes not.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
It's sort of like, is Yggdrasil a Digimon? Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd rather see. I guess I'm also a bit odd in that I'm not sure I'm that concerned with the Digimon. Like.
Yeah, I'm the same way, but.
Yeah,
it's an interesting exercise.
Yeah, like the Devas are all Digimon, but they're almost treated more as non-Digimon type enemies, is what I mean. Sort of, if that makes sense.
A little bit.
Yeah. I'm not sure it does. I think I started going off on a tangent that didn't completely make sense, but you were nice enough to placate me.
Also checking the chat, see what's going on out there.
Yeah. But yeah,
I've got my distractions.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where, like, I don't know, it just sort of felt to me like sometimes only Lotmon was ever kind of treated as a Digimon in that. At least to me, sometimes.
I mean, they were villains.
Yeah, that's kind of, but that's what I meant is I'm not sure how much they felt like Digimon villains to me, even though they were supposed to be like, we're Digimon, we're gonna stop, blah 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 blah. They kind of felt.
I think that's because that's you've got this large group of you have this recurring team of monsters of the week. I mean, they still feel like monsters of the week, most of them.
Yeah,
even though they're not really characters, with a couple exceptions. They're just sort of they show up and die.
Yeah,
that's the case with 7 or 8 of them.
Exactly, they feel more like generic monsters than actual Digimon for some reason to me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, definitely a few got some characterizations. Also, how they also completely wasted the dragon one. Like the dragon one just went down so easily. You expect more from a dragon, Deva.
You expect more from a dragon Digimon, period.
Yeah. Dorbikmon would be very disappointed.
Yes, he would. Let's see, we'll give them a chance to do a few more questions if they answer them, and then we'll call it. So any of the figures we went over, do you think you're going to end up getting, or no?
Probably not. Like if I see one at a convention, I might, like just a one-off at a convention, I might pick it up if it's cheap, but I'm not usually a big
I want everyone to remember this when he gets Giromon.
I will tell you, if I end up getting Giromon, I will give you the context of how I ended up getting Giromon.
Yeah, it will be like you were walking in the convention hall, you slipped, you stood up, and in front of you, with a light shining behind him, was Giromon.
I somehow ended up with the anniversary Tokomon Koromon little figures, so...
To be fair, a lot of people did because I think it was Think Geek overbought a bunch of them. And at one point, they had like hundreds and hundreds of cases of them.
Okay.
And at one point, they sold them cheap.
Could be. In my case, it was my wife coming home and it's like,
Yeah.
hey, look what I picked up at Mall of America.
Yeah, and at one point, they were selling them cheap, so a bunch of different dealers bought up a bunch of them to sell them at cons. Because I believe at one point, because one, that set was never that expensive. It was like $13. I believe at one point they were selling them for $5. So a bunch of them got out there to dealers. Okay. Okay, Ramona, because, we were talking about different groups. What about X-Antibody Digimon?
They had their anime.
Yeah, they had their anime and they failed. We'll see how we'll see how their new stuff does before we comment on if they should be in. If they
give them a second chance, like if they want to make another movie, like
hey, let's
then hey, I'll give it a fair shake. I will review it objectively.
Let's wait and see how Chronicle X is before they subject us to another CGI movie.
Tournament arc.
That they cancel and turn into a TV special.
Oh my god, maybe the tournament arc will be the next X Evolution movie.
Yeah. What?
It's just gonna be Desmond X just going around killing random Digimon in different
locations. Do you think we should check Kakudo's Twitter to see if he has any commentary on that story continuing?
He did do X Evolution.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe he has some interesting headcanons for X Evolution.
To be fair, to be fair,
tweeted them because nobody cares about.
To be fair, X Evolution itself is sort of a not quite what actually happened in the story the first time.
It's a dramatic interpretation.
Yes. And then randomly, because they know we all like Tokomon, they do Tokomon X, who never appeared again.
This child is dead.
and now his ears cross a slightly different way, which means that he's okay.
Yep. That's all you need to do. Twist your ears a certain way.
And it looks like the final question is, do you think Shoutmon X4 should be a figure? He's gotten some figures. I mean, the combination figure of him in Japan was quite nice. I hope we would get a Digivolving Spirits, which comes with the 4, and they're all nice. But, like, if you can track those figures down, it was pretty nice for the price back then. Somewhere I have it in a box. I actually got those 4 figures, and it was nice.
I'd rather have X4B.
They did him also. You bought the X4 stuff, and then you would just buy Beelzebumon, who would become more legs. But yeah, that stuff did show up. I mean, they finished with Damemon, which was a hilarious place to end with, because it looks great.
Yeah.
Dame. Yeah.
Like,
with that, do you think we're done?
I hope so.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for showing up. Argue with me and AR on the Discord. We're actually close to a new Patreon reward where I have to go back to doing the lead up again, possibly forever. Which is that will both be very fun to do and a pain in the ass, because it is time consuming to make sure I'm pulling something that people actually want to see. I mostly post from the With the Will Twitter. I also post from mine, which you can see there's Mark FBR. AR, where can they find you?
First Agent ARP on Twitter, First Agent on Tumblr, all spelled out.
May can be found on TranslationMon on Twitter. She's also pops in the Discord. She will hopefully be back next time. At the moment, she's off enjoying that little Gabumon figure that just came out. I believe that's what she told me to say. I don't quite remember.
Fair.
Yes, but May is not in the hospital from skating. She's not asleep. She just couldn't make it.
I mean, she might have been asleep at the start of the podcast. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
If you're, I don't, no guarantee that the day started. The Gabumon admiring started out exactly.
Yeah, that's true because when the podcast started for us, it was 7 a.m. for her. If I were her, like 7 a.m. on because it's Sunday for her, I would be asleep.
Yeah.
I might actually murder anyone who tries to wake me up at 7 a.m. on a Sunday.
Available. Yeah. For the entire podcast does not necessarily mean you're going to be awake at 7.
May she's cheating on us with another podcast.
Podultery.
Make sure to check out May's podcast, Lost in Translation Mon, as we mentioned.
I mean, technically, May's committing podultery just by coming on our show.
No, does it count, though? Because it's her podcast. Like, she has another co-host, but that's her show in the first place. Which is a yeah, we're gonna.
We need to get Jay on.
No. What? Yeah, what I was gonna say is we're gonna lose the joke at some point, and I think we've lost it. Agu would like to know, is May the Green Ranger? No, she's the Silver Ranger because she vanishes at random. Green just would forget stuff or not be there because he didn't have powers. May is definitely the Silver Ranger who showed up for 1 or 2 episodes and then left. And then came back with like a jet and whatever.
No joke. I just Googled pictures of Shoutmon X4B. I stand by my.
Yeah, and they made a toy of him.
Yes, I see that.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
I stand by my choice here.
No, I do. But what I'm saying is they could do something like, yeah, and I know we said we were done, but I feel like we need to discuss this. They do a Digivolving Spirits Shoutmon X4, where it comes with the 3 figures plus Starmon and the... Huh?
Does that mean you can take the Beelzebumon figure?
No. And what I was going to say was, since they're doing Impmon and Beelzebumon, do a Ballmon that turns into Cross Beelzebumon, but it can also combine with the Shoutmon X4.
Yes.
I would...
the technology is there.
The technology is there. Come on, they did Omegamon and Pyldramon 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And those don't look that bad when you consider what they had to do. Like, when you consider they had to do WarGreymon and MetalGreymon combining into an Omegamon figure, those look a lot better than they have any right to be.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we're done? Or do we have anything else to talk about?
I thought we were done.
Yes, but you chose to bring up X4B.
I like X4B.
And for that matter, what about X5B? I think that's about it.
That's a little extra.
Yeah, but it'd also be easy to do because what else is poor Sparrowmon gonna do? I mean, you can.
I have an acrylic of Sparrowmon.
Yeah, I was about to say all. I was about to say. Yeah,
in this house.
I was about to say do a Fig Arts of Mervamon, and the Sparrowmon can disconnect to combine with Digivolving Spirits Shoutmon.
Digivolving Spirits Sparrowmon to Raptor Sparrowmon, make it happen. Good night, everybody.
Yeah. Good night, everybody. We will see you next time. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. Bye.
Bye.